We can't play church no more. We can't play mosque or temple no more.
Because I can tell you where to find the deed. The deed to Temple 43 of what showing that we have the deed. That my temple government, my national government has the deed. The only deed. We're only temple that has the deed.
Like, I feel like it's a clown show, like sitting here trying to decipher what your little mythical book has to say about these very real political issues, right? I don't care if you're Christian. In fact, I will fight for you to have your religious liberty and practice your Christianity. I believe in that. I don't believe in Christianity, which means that you do not get to dictate the way I live my life based on your religion.
Well, you better get right, Mr. C. Cannon Bay. I see you, nigga. You's a whole Negro in real life. Your name is not C. Cannon Bay. That's not your name. And you know good and well it's not. That's the name you made up, and that's the reason why you are a terrorist. Yes, you really are on a terrorist list. I want to let you know that. And my temple family, y'all better back me up because you know good and damn well he is. Don't have me out here looking like I'm talking to myself. Oh, child, we love you, girl. Bye. Don't do that. Because you ain't standing up for me.
Hey, can you do the job real quick? That's Secretary of State tomorrow.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Hello, I'm good.
Nice
How are
meeting
you? Nice to meet you too.
Under these circumstances, unfortunately. Yeah.
Right.
I just want to take a picture of you. So, since you guys are basically, you're based in Illinois, you guys have 325 cars in New Jersey.
That's not fair to you. That's not fair to your family. That's not fair to anybody wasting the court system.
Right.
Maybe in that time they could figure out because you're totally different from the sovereign people.
Right.
Like we explained. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
sir.
Let's get this done for you between me and you. We'll get it done. I'll bring the release. Talk to Maine. Get it out of Maine, and then whatever you do with that license plate, I didn't see anything. You know what I mean?
Yes,
because
sir.
The birth certificate was created for the children of the newly freed black slaves. Anybody here got a birth certificate still? You're a black slave. They were created for the black slaves. It enrolled the black slaves' children as property of the federal United States.
You see these copies? This is how it's going to look, honey. I'm going to show you this. Because ain't no shame in my game. Certificate of live birth. And like I said, certificate of live birth, they are governments. You understand what I'm saying? So ain't nobody but to sit here and give them a fake name and have it go to vital records and you ain't got no proof from an actual judge who stamped his whole entire life on it and put his John Hancock stamp on it and wrote it in blood and sent it in, and it's legit for them to go ahead and lie and say, okay, we're going to go ahead and just make her a bae. We're going to just make her a bae, honey. Yeah. She said bae, or she said, hey, which one? Bae or bae? Bae, B-A-Y. Oh, okay, girl, yeah. No, that's not what they doing. That's not what they doing. See, I can't even use my old name no more. I can't use my old name no more because that is not what my name is. I actually have a surname, not an alias, no more. I went through the system to get out the system. And you see where it says live birth? You see that? Yes. It's C-Bay. Yeah, it's C-Bay. 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 That's me in real life. In real life. You know why? Because the judge told me I was. C-Bay. The judge told me. The judge said so. The judge said so. The judge said so. It was filed. The judge said so. 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 You got to go through the system to get out the system. And if you haven't been to court and ain't no judge say so because you didn't put the proper information on there to get out the system because you are not a part of a said government, hear me when I tell you, you are on a list. And I don't care what you think you're going to go through, you are on a list. And that's the reason why people always asking, well, how come Moors are getting kidnapped? In other words, why are they getting arrested so much? But basically, why are they getting kidnapped? Because you did it wrong. That's why. Because you're on a terrorist list. And guess what? Little by little, you guys are getting got.
521, okay. The city will accept this as compliant insurance before the date.
And what about the license?
The license is also valid in the province of Wisconsin. There's a Motion City non-suit on all 4 counts. The other 2 are at fault tickets with no evidence of an accident.
No, okay. So, Mr. Shabazz, all of your counts have been dismissed. Today, you have a good day.
Islam.
Were you given the documents that were in my file that I submitted before the disappearance? They told me that it was in my file and that you would review them.
I don't need to review them. I'm dismissing the tickets, Shantae.
I understand that, but now you're telling me they told me to come to court for this, and now you're telling me this has nothing to do with it, and it's just nothing that you can do when this is the reason why they took the vehicle.
I have no control over you getting the car back. That's what I'm telling you. I don't know what they told you, but it was improper for them to tell you that if you come to court, I have the power to have that car released. I do not.
This is crazy.
The only thing that I have the power to do is dismiss your tickets, which I'm doing.
Okay, I understand that. For one, those tickets were given under the wrong license anyway. Those are under...
I'm dismissing the tickets. You already won. You're arguing to me. You already won. I'm dismissing all of the tickets.
And I appreciate that.
Ms. Carlin from CC on the email. Mr. Jenkins has advised me that given his status as a Moorish American national, he does not believe, it's not his impression that he A, has or needs counsel, and B, his belief, his impression is that this court lacks jurisdiction over the matter. And Your Honor, as a reminder, I believe Mr. Jenkins had brought this argument up at the last hearing and provided the court with some materials to that effect. And Your Honor thought it was in the best interest of Mr. Jenkins to have counsel assigned to sort of protect his interests should he wish to proceed pro bono. So I've spoken to Mr. Jenkins. He's communicated his wishes to not be represented for all the bases that I mentioned, Your Honor. So I'm here to do whatever is necessary to either advise, consult, or whatever the case may be for Mr. Jenkins. Very good, thank you.
And as you can see, state of New Jersey, Mr. Jenkins, right? And as you can see, defendant stated in court he does not want pro bono counsel to represent him. Bow. Okay. And then after I put in my motion, they said this matter no longer needs a trial date and is now scheduled for a case management conference. Right? And then I'm going to let y'all hear that. Bow.
State cannot carry its burden. The state has therefore made a motion to dismiss all three matters. Court will grant that motion. All three matters are dismissed. Does this get an automatic expungement, Carolyn?
Your Honor, it is eligible for an automatic expungement.
Okay. An automatic expungement to be entered on all three docket numbers. The trial scheduled for April 1 is canceled. And I believe that's it. Anything further?
Residents, every Moor that's in the Moor side symbol of America right now are residents of the state in which they reside. If they are not a national citizen under this national government, they are residents. They're walking around with state IDs. They're walking around with and driving around with state license plates. Their children are being issued birth certificates by whatever state they reside in. Okay?
A resident. What is a resident? Let's understand. Identified. So a resident is a thing identified as defined in 26 U.S.C. 7701. It does this by offering you commercial benefits to persons outside its jurisdiction, thereby making them things identified. Resident.
This is exactly what he meant when he said, soon every American will be required to register their biological property. Now, your parents didn't realize what they were doing when they filmed this out, and these didn't exist before 1933. Birth records were recorded in scripture, and these only came into being in 1933 when they hatched this plan. They created a corporate fiction with a name just like yours. In doing this, they registered and monetized the spirit and soul of a living being. This I'm born in Canada. This is a Class A share. Now, this is called the cusp number. and all securities require a cusp number, and that's what this is. And you are held as collateral to secure the debt which our government owes to international bankers. So you and me and all these people here are actually collateral, and we don't even own our lives. We are chattel, and we believe we're free.
Now before you on the phone, the lady was like, "Oh, Miss Bay. Oh yes, I'm so sorry." Yeah. You gotta turn your paperwork in. They send it back to you though. They send it back to you. They send your court paper back. See how they wrote it in blood? Yeah, they wrote it in blood. That was the court, the judge himself. They said they gotta write it in blood. That's what the prophet said, to write it in blood. They said I asked for more than one copy. You see these copies? This is how it's gonna look, honey. I'm gonna show you this. Because ain't no shame in my game. Certificate of live birth. And like I said, certificate of live birth, they are governments. You understand what I'm saying? So ain't nobody but to sit here and give them a fake name and have it go to vital records, and you ain't got no proof from an actual judge who stamped his whole entire life on it and put his John Hancock stamp on it and wrote it in blood and sent it in, and it's legit for them to go ahead and lie and say, okay, we're going to go ahead and just make her a bae. We're going to just make her a bae, honey. Yeah. She said bae, or she said, hey, which one? Bae or bae? Bae, B-A-Y. Oh, okay, girl. Yeah.
Well, statelessness is a reality for more than 12 million people across the globe, according to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Disallowed access to a nationality, hundreds of thousands continue to endure.
You were even called refugees in your own country. You're not refugees. You're Americans.
Lisa Muller, she's an attorney in the Statelessness Project for Lawyers for Human Rights. Good afternoon, Liesl, and thank you for your time on the PM News Desk.
Good afternoon.
Break it down for us, Liesl. What is statelessness exactly?
Well, in terms of the international conventions on statelessness, a stateless person is someone who is not considered to be a citizen of any country in the world. So the person is without a country to recognize his rights, and he's effectively rightless and without a state to protect its rights also.
This effectively leaves a human being without a nationality. Tell us how one's rights are violated without nationality or without citizenship.
Yes, a person without nationality also has no access to enabling documents like a birth certificate or an ID document. In South Africa, an ID document is a very important document because you will use it to rent a home to stay in, to legally apply for a job, or to access healthcare services. So the ID document in South Africa is something that you really need to, in fact, do anything in this country. And then also one cannot participate in the political community. You cannot vote or run for office.
From what you're saying, Liesl, it becomes clear that human rights are simply unenforceable without a nationality. But statelessness, though, is not new, although recognized by the international community for decades. It still remains a big human rights challenge that's really not getting the attention it deserves. Why is this, Liesl?
Yes, nationality is basically the right to have other rights. In South Africa, I believe that it is due to a general lack of understanding of the problem. We are also in a state of denial that the problem exists. Our project is
repatriate back to my people, which is my state. I gotta repatriate back to my state. This is why I know what you already saying, what man, I'm gonna leave you in the state in which I found you. If you don't start, another way I prove more science of America, it start off as what? A civic what? Organization. Look up any civics class. They're not talking about no religion. Civics is about government, state, countries. That's what civics is about. It's not about religion. Civics not about religion. Real simple. It started off with civics. He then did what?
We can't play church no more. Bow. We can't play mosque or temple no more. Bow.
You know, dissect what they are reading. You understand? So the man apparently doesn't know nothing about the 101s, what the prophet said. He knows nothing about the Quran and what it speaks of, because if he did, he would know about the holy and divine instructions the prophet Noble Drew Ali gave us for us to be in the temple, because that is the government, that is the subordinate charter. Nor has C. Cannon Bay, and the more I keep bringing it out to him, the more he wants to put on Act 3. Let me tell you something about Act 3. Act 3 is when you are actually in the government and you are speaking against one of your family members. You see, he don't even know what the fuck that means. First of all, he's not my family. He's not in my temple. So I could be, if it was Act 3, it wouldn't be against him because he's not family. And because I'm a real Bay in real life, I am C. Gilchrist Bay in real life, okay? Yes, you can research me all day.
Like, I feel like it's a clown show, like sitting here trying to decipher what your little mythical book has to say about these very real political issues, right? I don't care.